well as a more of nonverbal stuff. But we're going to also talk about reading the room, reading relationships, reading how into you she is versus how into you he is, and all those other good things. Again, the single most important factor besides your inner state, and it helps to have an understanding of social dynamics in terms of what's actually going on versus what you think is going on, which I'm hoping this is helping you with, right? Because how many of you found out that something you thought was one way was actually a different way? Bingo, right? This is why it's important to have these kinds of both genders coming together and just learning and practicing to get better, right? And if some of you want to get together afterwards because you were so impressed with the other guy's game or the other girl's game, then that's on you, but don't do it when I'm around. So one of the things I want to play with as we move through the next 2.5 days or however long it is I want you guys to kind of practice opening and approaching each other and reading nonverbals. So maybe as what I'd like to do, and again, for you guys, I'm making some of this up as I go because I see where people are at, or I want to see what kind of, how deep into the shit I can throw you. Right? Because that's what we do. We put you in more and more challenging situations so that when you're out there, it's not a big deal. It's like you've encountered this shit before, right? So we may set up groups where you approach groups and one person negs you, the other person gives you an indicator of interest, and you have to figure out how to befriend the obstacle while telling cool stories to the people. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet because there's a lot more we have to learn in terms of understanding what we're looking at, seeing the matrix, so to speak. So we've talked about metaframe, or what I call identity states. I step into this master and commander. Right? Or I step into this rock star metaframe, or I step into my open heart trust trigger. Now, you take that as your core, and you graft onto that a frame, a set of perspectives about the way the world is. Now, some of you, if you're a woman, some of these are actually going to be very easy because they're actually analogous to how you probably live your life anyway. But for a lot of you, it will be completely alien. Again, you need to move through the world pretending this is true. And eventually, it actually becomes true. Okay? So we call this the fourfold metaframe. This is a set of beliefs and perspectives that you lay over top of a master and commander or a rock star or whatever. Okay? I'm a fan of rock star because it just gives people this huge fun spike everywhere they go. Makes me the center of attention in a good way. And more often than not, because I'm very congruent in how I do things, people just start hitting on me or start sending signals and I don't respond to any of them, which is part of the thing. Is just because somebody sends you a signal doesn't mean you have to respond to it. But most guys, most guys live in a space of sexual scarcity. They go after any food that gets thrown their way, right? And this kind of goes to what TJ was saying, is we deliberately not choose them. By deliberately not choosing somebody, you flip the script on them and you cause them to seek validation from you because they're so used to being the prize. They take it for granted that you're just like everybody else. And the moment you don't behave like everybody else, you become special. Okay, we'll talk a little bit later about flattering and the proper way to flatter people and give compliments and things of that nature. But we're still on the nonverbal side of things, but this is more of an inner game thing. And again, this is something you have to step into, right? And it goes something like this. I'm just going to pull up the book. This is my friend Swing Cat wrote a book called Real World Seduction. This is what he calls the fourfold metaframe. Now, what's cool about this is that this is pretty standard from any seduction system out there, or any attraction system out there. They're going to have these 4 characteristics implicit in what they're doing. First and foremost, in any interaction, in any situation, you are the prize. You are the one that has the value, has more value. Doesn't that they don't have value, you have more. You understand that? When you walk up to somebody, there's a social status gap, and I'm it, right? And when I talk to you like, I don't necessarily talk down to you, but I'm not seeking your approval. You understand that? Most of us, when we enter a situation where we're not the prize, the first thing we try to do is get vetted and approved of by the power holder in the group. We are the power holder in the group, even if they don't realize it yet. Okay? Second piece. Everyone you meet is trying to win you over. Man or woman, doesn't matter. Everyone you meet is trying to win you over. They're trying to get your validation, your trust, your attraction. They're wanting you to approve or validate them. Okay? In fact, step 3, they want you so bad that they're literally trying to make you sleep with them so they can have their approval. Right? Even if they're not conscious of it, they're trying to get you to sleep with them. You have to treat everybody this way. Right? Now, attractive women do this all the time. Because every man they meet has an agenda, even if they're not conscious of it. And so they have to keep a distance. They have to be a little bit more aloof. They have to minimize their own signals of attraction. This is something you're going to see. Women who are extraordinarily attractive, who get hit on a huge amount of times, have very, very small indicators of interest. Women who aren't hit on quite as often are often much more easy to read. Okay? So if you want easier signals to read, spike their dopamine, spike their oxytocin levels, the signs will get bigger. But the cues are still there. Okay? Final one, and this is where we start to get into a lot of the technique sides of things. Remember, this is an attitude, a perception of ourselves in the world we live in. If you hold it, one of two things will happen. People will either buy into it and they will behave in the predictable manner, or they will leave. Either way, problem solved. Right? I want you to think about every moment of your life is a scene in your movie. You are the writer, you are the producer, you are the director, and you are the star. And if the people you encounter do not play the role you've assigned them, there's 27 other people waiting for that role. Yes?
How long?
And it's not, you don't have to be an asshole to live this way. And that's the important thing.
Say you're a really insecure guy that's trying to, get better at this. How long does it take for their subconscious to anchor this in as their new trait, their new personality type? Can it take one hypno session to get them installed, or does it take maybe 6 months of just?
I think that's a very personal thing. Some people might do one session. Some people just might just need to see it happen in the field for real with somebody they know, and all of a sudden they're convinced that it works and they take it on. Some people need multiple repetitions, right? The idea here is you're going to step into a character. You're going to step into an identity role, right? And you're going to create that, and you're going to move through the world in that character, and people are going to respond to you from that place. Actors, when they go deep in character, there's a part of them that still knows that they're not that character yet, but they go so deep into it that it's congruent and legitimate, and that's the whole point, right? If you were if you were going to a costume party and you were going to be Jack Sparrow, you would take on all the behaviors, you would take on all the feelings, you would take on all the perspectives, and there would be a part of you that knew your name was really Mario, but that part would be off on a shelf somewhere right now, and you just do that, right? That's why, again, take acting classes, method acting classes specifically, right? You're going to have to create a new you that is more of the person you want to be, that has these built into it, right? And the more you become solid in that new identity, the more normal this will be. But right now, it's like trying on somebody else's shoes or clothes, right? They may fit you well, but they're somebody else's, right? Because the persona you're moving through the world and the identity that you're operating from is a habit. That's all it is. It's a habit of beliefs. It's a habit of perceptions that is familiar. Nothing feels as comfortable as an old pair of shoes, right? You buy brand new shoes, they look great, but they're new. They feel different, at least for a couple of months. Then all of a sudden, your new shoes become your old shoes, right? Same with this. Remember we talked about the echo technique, the spotlight effect? You're going to think because you're affecting something, that you're stepping into something that isn't your normal way of doing it, that everybody else is going to as well, and that is false. People are just not that perceptive or that conscientious to look below the surface. Now, if you're not doing it well, then you're going to be incongruent. Why? Because you didn't start with the body feelings. So ask yourself, what would it be like to be someone who was the prize? That wherever you go, everyone you meet is trying to get something from you. Like if you lived in LA, right? Some of us are in the film industry here. They know what this is like, right? There's a very different energy, right? If you just make these assumptions about people and operate from those assumptions, your behaviors will change accordingly. You'll stop giving people stuff and start pulling back, and they'll chase you to try and get more, right? So again, make these assumptions. Whenever somebody challenges your frame, reframe it so that it's them trying to hit on you without proving they're hitting on you, right? My favorite, it's pathetic how much you want me. Oh, God, yeah. And it's like they swallowed their tongue, right? So I don't want, yeah, right. Talk to the hand. And they're like, fine, right? Right? And one of two things will happen. Really. They either buy into the frame and become that person. They become the identity you've given them, which is what you're doing from a hypnotic standpoint. You're giving them an identity by changing the frame. And that's really what it's about. It's about creating a context, as Chase would say, giving them permission, which is the context, in which it's okay to act in a way they don't normally behave. Right? So if I become the prize, there's only one slot left in that frame. You're either the prize or the hunter. Well, if I'm the prize, guess what? You know your job, go do it. Right? And no, I'm not going to sleep with you because you haven't proven to me you're worth it yet. Which is assumption number 4. Sex is going to be inevitable, provided you pass all my tests. I will not sleep with you until you show me you deserve it. Right? And you should frame things. Like when they touch you, hey, this shit ain't free, $20. Right? Right? I ain't no petting zoo. Buy me dinner first, biatch. Right? You see? Look at them. You're like,
You did that to me earlier.
I know, didn't I? And what happened? She played right back at me. She went, who was there and saw it? You guys saw it, right? She started giving me the googly eyes. Right? Why? Because once the frame is set, the behaviors activate. So you can do this with each other and play, and you'll be amazed how fast they play back. Well, they're not just playing back. They're becoming. And the longer they play, the deeper they go, okay? So these 4 assumptions I want you to make in any given interaction. Now here's the secret. Don't be an arrogant ass. A lot of really attractive women get hit on constantly, and they manage it by being nice, but good strong boundaries, good indicators, of, you know what I'm saying? They know how to keep that aloofness, right? That's the part you have to manage, right? And you have, but again, you have to spin in your own mind everything that comes out of their mouth is just their unconscious or conscious attempt to get in your pants one way or another. And anytime you can give them a little one-liner or a bust their stones in a fun, teasing, playful way about how they're hitting on you, you'll be amazed what happens, right? Because you took it away from them. Now they want it back, right? Don't you? Okay. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So again, tonight is going to be field work. You're going to go out into the field and you're going to observe people. When you get indicators of interest, you're going to open them. You're going to go talk to them and have a conversation with no other agenda than just to have a good time and see if they're cool people. You're not allowed to have sex with anyone, no matter how much they beg. Okay. Your job is to have fun. All right? Be playful, have great conversations, find out if they're cool people worth getting to know. And nothing. And you can even say, look, my coach sent me out to talk to people. I'm not allowed to have sex with you. Okay, so, you know, so just don't, you know, I can't go there, sorry. It's not that you're not cool, but I'm only allowed to talk.
Seriously, try it. Yes, when you throw that out as the beginner, and they're like, wait. I can't have sex.
Well, what do you mean you can't have sex with me? What? Why? Because they're reacting. We talked about reactance, right? Reactance is that pushback we get anytime a limit on our freedom has been imposed. Well, what happens? You're not allowed to have sex with me, Alma. Oh yeah? Fuck you. Right? And she's married. And my publicist. And what happened when I said you're not allowed to have sex with me? What was that? What was your knee-jerk response? Look. You see that? That's reactance. It doesn't matter what their status is. The moment you take away their freedom of choice, they push back. Just make sure you push them back in the way that goes in the direction you want them to go. You can't hit on me at all.
I can't.
Did you see it? This is Little Miss Shrinking Violet. Did you see it? Like, oh, motherfucker, it's on now. I don't even know how yet, and I'm going to get you. Right?
It'd be a lot of fun, but I'm obviously not your type, so.
Yeah. It would never work out. That's it, the relationship's over. I'm keeping the dog, forget you. Right? Funny things, but they still have that takeaway in it. Even though it's fun, it's playful, and that's the secret. You have to deliver these things in a fun, playful, non-creepy way. Right? You can't have sex with me, Alma. Right? That ain't good. Right?
That might be funny.
That might be funny, yeah. Right? Okay. So, the rest of today, when we're not looking at nonverbal game or calibration, I want you guys getting into groups, just approaching. And the rule of thumb for old school mystery method was you walk into a venue, first person on the left that you see, you approach. Right? So you can break up into groups. And you can open, and by the way, you should be opening groups of men and women. Because remember, what are our 4 psychological attraction triggers? What's the first one? Leader of men? Well, if you can't talk to guys, how are you going to lead them? So don't be afraid to practice your opening skills on groups of men. Because I guarantee you, out in the field, you'll almost never find an attractive person alone. And it may be a mixed group where you got to befriend the obstacle. Because there are guys in that group that are vying for this person's attention, or are friends or gatekeepers to the target. And you got to make them like you. Because if they don't like you, you're not getting to the person you want. You understand, right? This goes for business applications, negotiations, networking, the whole 9 yards. You just got to be a little bit more subtle without pissing off the CEO when you neg him.